10 reasons not to move to Portugal. In today's video, we are discussing 10 reasons not to move to Portugal. Being a beautiful country with lots of history and culture, it can be tempting to think that moving there would be a great decision. However, we want you all to carefully weigh up the pros and cons before making such an important choice. So stick around till the end to see what these 10 reasons not to move to Portugal. 1. Not being innovative. If you're someone who loves to move around and have a knack for trying something new, Portugal probably isn't the best option on your list. Sure, there's plenty of natural beauty, charming villages and incredible beaches, but that can get a little boring after a while if all you seem to be doing is recreating the same postcards. It seems like every time you turn around, there are traditions meant to be followed without much room for creative thought or ideas. It means not having an opportunity to think outside the box and try something new. And then let's talk about business innovation, something Portugal sorely lacks behind in when compared with other countries in Europe. The lack of clear rules governing areas such as finance or technology mean entrepreneurs often struggle more than they should if they want to create their own startup or pursue some out-of-the-box idea. If you want a fast-paced life with innovations all around, then you should avoid living in Portugal. 2. Bad driving culture. The driving culture in this country is not something to be proud of. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and downright dangerous. To put it bluntly, the Portuguese roads are an absolute hazard. Drivers tend to speed on highways and often weave in between lanes without warning. There are plenty of instances where drivers will overtake on blind corners or hills with dangerously little space available, making it incredibly unsafe for other road users. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's also the problem of distracted drivers who can't seem to keep their eyes off their phones while they travel down the highway at breakneck speeds. This often leads to them missing traffic signs or lane markings, which result in near misses between cars. No thanks. Bad driving culture is one of the most overlooked reasons not to move to Portugal. 3. Overtourism. When you think of Portugal, there are some amazing things that come to mind, from gorgeous beaches and picturesque coastal towns to delicious cuisine and friendly people. And let's not forget about all these historical gems like castles and cathedrals scattered throughout the country. But unfortunately, these attractions have drawn so many visitors in recent years that it has caused overcrowding in popular areas. Not only does this create an uncomfortable experience for people trying to enjoy their vacation, it can also be a headache for locals dealing with higher prices, increased traffic and more pollution. Plus, if you're planning on living in Portugal, you may find yourself overwhelmed by all of the tourists everywhere you go. Not always the ideal situation. 4. Cigarettes everywhere. If I had to make a list of reasons not to move there, cigarettes everywhere would definitely be at the top. It is truly one of the most annoying reasons not to move to Portugal. Let's start with the fact that smoking is surprisingly widespread in Portugal. One survey estimates that over 30% of Portuguese men are smokers. You can find smokers just about anywhere you go in Portugal, on public transportation, outside cafes and restaurants, sometimes even in churches. In fact, some popular tourist attractions have designated smoking sections where visitors can light up without fear of judgment or reprimand. Talk about appalling etiquette. 5. People are very reserved. Portuguese people tend to be quite old-fashioned when it comes to social behaviour, so don't expect them to give out hugs or handshakes for no reason. That can make it hard for newcomers who come expecting an open and friendly welcome. If you are a social butterfly, then this is one of the prime reasons not to move to Portugal. On top of that, Portuguese people are very private individuals and prefer not to discuss their personal life with strangers, even if they become friends. So even if you do manage to make a friend or two in your new country, chances are you won't be hearing any juicy gossip anytime soon. 6. Housing issues. As with any popular tourist destination that attracts global travellers, the housing market in Portugal can be quite competitive, especially for those looking for a place to live permanently. Finding an affordable and suitable apartment may take some time and money, not to mention you'll have increased competition from renters who are just passing through on vacation. And if it looks like something might work out, you better be prepared because prices tend to increase as soon as people look interested. Talk about a bidding war! But wait, it gets worse. Apartment rental contracts in Portugal can last anywhere between 6 months and 5 years, depending on where you're renting, meaning if you don't love your current living arrangement after the initial period is up, tough luck. Housing issues are one of the prime reasons why outsiders avoid living in Portugal. 7. Integration. In Portugal, you usually don't see the Portuguese mingling with non-Portuguese. Even if someone has been living there for years, they can usually count their close Portuguese friends on one hand. It takes two to tango though. Portuguese people can be a bit reserved, even with each other, and not many expats put in the effort to really integrate. It's a long process that involves getting really good at Portuguese, which is extra hard if you don't work in an office or go to school. But it's worth it. Although it takes a while to make Portuguese friends, once you do, you've got a friend forever. 8. Flights to other European countries from Portugal are expensive. If you're considering moving to Portugal, you should know that there's one major downside. Flight prices to other European countries from Portugal are expensive due to distance. In fact, it could be the reason why you might not want to start living in Portugal in the first place. Sure, Portugal has its own unique culture and amazing scenery, but if hopping around Europe is your thing, then a move to this Mediterranean country might not be ideal. You'll find yourself spending an arm and a leg on flights just so you can explore other parts of the continent. And don't even get me started on how much time it takes for a direct flight from Lisbon or Oporto, the two main airports, will take compared with some of their Western European counterparts. Expect more than 4 hours minimum for those kind of trips. 9. Difficulty finding a job. It would be great to have the opportunity to soak up some sun while enjoying an ocean view from your balcony, but finding work can be difficult. While there are plenty of jobs in hospitality and tourism, they don't always provide enough stable income for those wanting to settle down in Portugal permanently. Plus, the competition is fierce, with so many people flocking here each year, hoping for a new start or simply seeking temporary employment opportunities. It can be hard to get yourself noticed when applying. Not only this, but even if you do manage to secure a job in Portugal, you find yourself struggling with bureaucracy and red tape. If you're not from Portugal, you're going to have a hard time finding a job here. Employers are required to hire locals first, so unless you can get someone to vouch for you or have a special set of skills, it probably won't be easy to land a job. 10. Noise. Besides the chill, not having insulation can also cause issues with noise travelling. This is more of an issue in apartments as opposed to houses, but even in houses you can get barking dogs in rural areas that just won't stop. Generally speaking though, noise issues tend to come from apartments. You'll usually hear most noises from the flat above, but depending on the structure, you may hear from below or to the side too. It really depends on when the building was built, what floor the apartment is on, and who your neighbours are. In some apartments, you won't hear a thing. In others, you can hear every word your neighbour says. These problems can be sorted out if you're willing to spend some money, but it's best to avoid them altogether. In conclusion, living in Portugal may seem like an appealing option for individuals looking for a change of scenery. However, it is important to understand some of the potential drawbacks and obstacles that come along with making this decision, as outlined in this blog post. Bearing these things in mind can help you make more informed decisions about whether or not migrating to Portugal is truly right for you. Ultimately, your comfort and satisfaction should be priority number one when considering any major move like this one. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell.